Have you ever felt that the kiss that never came hurts more than a betrayal? That something so small becomes a massive void, an echo that resonates in your soul. But what if that silence isn't shyness or forgetfulness? What if withholding affection is part of a deeper plan? Today, we uncover a truth few dare to say. Why the narcissist avoids kissing you, and how that absence becomes one of their most effective tools of emotional control. You're not here by accident. You're here because deep down, something inside you already knows. Because somewhere in your story, there was a kiss that never arrived, and it hurt more than any words ever could. What you're about to hear might change you. It might sting, but it will wake you up. The narcissist isn't cold by mistake. Their behavior isn't emotional clumsiness. It's strategy. They don't seek love. They seek supply. They don't crave connection. They crave control. And a kiss is more dangerous than a lie, because a kiss connects. A kiss levels the playing field. A kiss bonds. And bonding? That's not what they want. They want to dominate. If someone has ever withheld affection as a silent punishment, stay with me, subscribe now, and share in the comments. Has a missing kiss ever hurt more than an argument? Because this story might be yours. The narcissist is not born, they are built. Their personality is shaped in childhood, by absent affection, by excessive expectations, or by inflated egos. They grow up believing love must be earned through control, and when they enter a relationship they don't come to love you, they come to master you. For most people, a kiss is a bridge, a gesture that connects bodies, souls, and emotions. But for the narcissist, a kiss is not an act of love. It's a currency, a weapon, a language they use or withhold based on what they want to extract from you. Not kissing doesn't mean they don't desire you. It means they want control. This is called intermittent reinforcement. One day, they give you attention. The next they take it away. One day, they look at you with warmth. The next they vanish. They hug you only when you give it. They ignore you when you set boundaries. This isn't confusion, it's strategy. And the cruelest part, it works. The human brain doesn't tolerate uncertainty. When someone you love kisses you today and rejects you tomorrow, your brain doesn't think, they don't love me. It thinks, what did I do wrong? That question becomes anxiety, and anxiety turns into dependence. You chase the kiss like air, not because it's love, but because you can't stand the emptiness. Real case. Aina, 32. After an argument with her partner, he stopped kissing her. No yelling, just silence. Days later, out of nowhere, he gave her a quick kiss. Aina felt relief. Not from the kiss itself, but from the tension disappearing for a moment. And then she stayed, and the cycle repeated. She no longer asked for love. She begged for crumbs. This is how emotional addiction begins. When your mind and body crave affection like a dog waits for a treat, it's not love, it's conditioning. Key phrase: the kiss withheld hurts more than a slap, because it wounds the soul, not the skin, and that invisible pain is what makes you stay. Justify, forgive, fall again and again. Science confirms it. Emotional rejection isn't symbolic. It's physical. Neuroscience studies reveal that social rejection activates the same areas of the brain as physical pain. In other words, when a narcissist avoids kissing you, your body experiences it as if you were being hurt, and that is no accident. It's part of the design. Emotional silence becomes punishment. Distance becomes power. Because while you wonder what did I do wrong, they've already succeeded. You're working for the relationship while they sit back and watch. Remember, the narcissist doesn't avoid kissing you because they don't feel. They avoid it because they know exactly what it does. They know the emptiness destabilizes you. That absence makes you doubt. And in that confusion, manipulation becomes easier. Example: remember when your grandmother kissed your forehead before bed? That simple gesture was invisible armor, pure love. Now imagine your partner withholding that same kiss without explanation. Not only do they remove it, they make sure you beg for it. Key phrase: the narcissist's silence isn't absence, it's strategy. If this resonates with you, don't ignore it. Like this video, Comment if a missing kiss once spoke louder than 1,000 words, and subscribe, because what you're about to uncover isn't self-help. It's emotional clarity, and clarity is power. Let's go deeper. Not all narcissists behave the same way, but they all use affection as a tool. Some withdraw it, others contaminate, but in every case, the goal isn't to love, it's to dominate. Not all narcissists look the same. Some shout, others whisper, some dominate through presence, others through absence, but they all share one thing: love. To them isn't connection, it's control. There are mainly two types of narcissists who use affection, including kissing as a tactic. One, the grandiose narcissist, charismatic, confident, at first glance, the perfect partner. They dazzle you with intensity and seduce you with bold gestures, but it's all part of the plan. They give a lot up front, so later you'll crave every crumb they withhold. Example: Jose, a successful 40-year-old businessman. The first few weeks of his relationships felt like a romantic movie: luxury dinners, trips, passionate kisses. But once his partner felt secure, it all vanished. Affection, intimacy, even texts. It wasn't disinterest, it was a test. He wanted to see how much she would sacrifice to get it back. Key phrase: the grandiose narcissist doesn't seek companionship, he demands devotion. 2. The vulnerable or covert narcissist, harder to spot. They appear fragile, misunderstood. They use emotional wounds to trigger guilt. They don't yell, they make you feel responsible for their sadness. Example: Mariana dated someone who often said, "I don't know how to love, no one ever taught me." He used that as an excuse not to kiss her, not to touch her, not to connect. But when she pulled away, he said, "I knew you'd leave me like everyone else." So she stayed, not out of love but pity. Key phrase: the vulnerable narcissist doesn't control through force, he controls through pain. Both avoid kissing for the same reason, because kissing equals kissing bonds, and they're not here to bond, they're here to dominate. This is where your real defense begins: recognizing the patterns, seeing what you once overlooked. Because a narcissist doesn't break you all at once, they do it through cracks, tiny, almost invisible ones, until you finally collapse. First pattern: the cycle of idealization, devaluation and discard. At first you're perfect, they admire you, idolize you. Then, without clear reason, something shifts. They criticize, they minimize. Finally, they ignore you, block you, as if you never existed. Example: Marcos, 29. For 3 months his partner called him the man of her dreams. Suddenly, she began pointing out flaws she had never mentioned. Weeks later, she blocked him on all platforms without a single fight. 2 weeks later, she reappeared like nothing happened. Second pattern: emotional mirroring. The narcissist copies your gestures, your words, your interests, not because they share them, but to seduce more effectively. They become your reflection, so you'll believe you're soulmates, but that reflection isn't love, it's bait. Third pattern: silent sabotage. They don't attack directly, they undermine subtly. Backhanded compliments like, "Congrats on the promotion, though I thought you were aiming higher." Doubt after doubt. Key phrase: a narcissist doesn't break you with yelling, they crack you with soft words. Fourth pattern: emotional blackmail. If you loved me, you'd do this for me. Affection becomes a currency. Fifth pattern: triangulation. They bring in someone else to create jealousy or competition. "My ex knew how to treat me," and suddenly, you're fighting for validation. And then comes the hardest, but most powerful moment: awakening. That instant when you stop craving the kiss that never came. You stop justifying the coldness. You stop begging for crumbs. And you begin to understand. The problem wasn't your worth, it was their strategy. There's a sentence that defines this shift: "It doesn't hurt that you didn't kiss me, it hurts that I believed that was love." That is your breaking point, and your rebirth. Leaving a narcissist isn't just a breakup, it's a rebuilding, because they leave you shattered. They make you doubt yourself. They convince you that you were the problem, and when you finally leave, the silence hurts more than their presence. But that silence is fertile, because in it, you finally hear yourself. What should you do? First, cut the emotional cord. Don't wait for a goodbye. Don't beg for closure. The narcissist never closes doors. They leave them half open. So you keep pushing them. You must be the one to shut it. Firmly, painfully, with dignity. Second, reclaim your narrative. Tell your story without shame. I was manipulated but not destroyed. I was used but I learned. I got lost, but I found myself. Language transforms wounds into wisdom. Third, rebuild your capacity to receive healthy affection. A kiss without conditions. A touch without a price. A silence that comforts, not punishes, because that kind of love exists. And if this speaks to you today, know this, you are not alone. Millions have awakened, and so can you. Now that you can see the full map, ask yourself, how many times did you confuse fear with respect, absence with mystery, silence with maturity? The narcissist hides behind all of it, but behind the charm, the control, and the silence, one truth remains: they don't know how to love. The kiss they never gave you wasn't a mistake. It was a message. Every gesture they withheld was a brick in their emotional wall. You didn't know it then, but while you were trying to build, they were measuring how much you were willing to lose to. And the cruelest truth is this: the narcissist doesn't want your love. They want your energy, your attention, your availability, your sacrifice. And the more exhausted you become, the more they feed. But there's a way out, and it begins not when you want them to kiss you, but when you want to be respected. When you stop hoping they'll return, and start hoping that you never do. When you realize it wasn't your fault, but it will be your responsibility to end the cycle. The wounds a narcissist leaves are invisible, but they teach you. They teach you to recognize real love from conditional love, free affection from manipulated affection, and above all they teach you to choose yourself. Key phrase: the kiss you never got was a blessing in disguise, because it forced you to kiss your own truth. You no longer need proof of love. You need peace, and peace begins the moment you stop negotiating your worth with someone who only came to diminish it. Imagine this moment as a mirror. Look at yourself, not as a victim, not as fragile. Look at yourself as someone who survived a silent war. A war where your soul asked for love, and got tactics. Where your lips longed for tenderness, and found punishments disguised as distance. But today you're here, and that changes everything. Because understanding what you lived doesn't just free you, it transforms. You no longer ask to be kissed. Now you choose who deserves to be near your world. You no longer look for love in confusion. You no longer excuse coldness as trauma. You no longer take crumbs as if they were feasts. And no, it wasn't your fault you fell. You were loving, loyal, but now you know that love without reciprocity isn't noble. It's dangerous. Key phrase: they denied you a kiss, but gave you a mission to return to yourself, more whole than ever. Close your eyes for a second. Remember the moment you waited for a kiss that never came. Got it? Now rewrite the scene. Instead of begging for affection, you turn around. You walk away. You choose yourself. That is the real ending you deserve. One where control breaks, your voice returns, and silence no longer hurts, because you fill it with your own love. And if any part of you still doubts, remember, the narcissist never kissed you the way you deserved, because they feared what that kiss might reveal, that you, without them, could be happy. Now you know. Now it's your turn. Once upon a time, there was a woman who cared for a withered flower. She watered it every day, spoke to it gently, shielded it from the sun and the wind, but the flower never bloomed. It gave no color, no fragrance. It only consumed her time and her hope. One day, exhausted, the woman walked away for the first time. She wandered in silence, feeling the void of having nothing left to give. But in that silence, she began to hear, and in that hearing, she found herself. She discovered that nearby, there was an entire garden, wild flowers, tall trees, vibrant aromas, and then she understood. She had spent years nurturing something that was never alive, not because she didn't know how to love, but because that flower never wanted to bloom. It only wanted to absorb. She returned one last time, looked at the withered flower, and whispered, "I gave you the best of me, but today, I take it back." And she walked away, not with rage, but with peace. That woman could be you, because you too gave without limit. You waited for a kiss that never came. You cared for someone who only knew how to take. But now, it's your time to bloom, not in someone else's garden, but in your own. Key phrase: some loves don't heal, but they awaken you. Today, you don't need answers from someone who never asked about you. You don't need closure or emotional justice. You just need one decision: to return to yourself. The narcissist may have avoided kissing you, but they can't avoid the inevitable. That one day, you'll stop desiring them, and that day, you'll be free. This is your moment, not to confront, not to seek revenge. It's your moment to understand and release. Because when you understand and release, because when you understand the game, you stop playing. When you see the strategy, you take back your power. You weren't weak. You were noble. You weren't naive. You were loving. You weren't foolish. You were loyal to something you hoped could heal. But now you know, real love doesn't need to be begged for. It's given. It's received. It's celebrated. It's never hidden. And yes, it hurt. The kiss that never came hurt. The absence disguised as calmness hurt. Waiting for someone who had already decided not to love you the way you deserved. That hurt. But that pain no longer defines you. It propelled you, prepared you, sharpened you, because now you're ready for something greater than conditional affection. You're ready for a life where no one toys with your desire, where kisses aren't rewards or punishments, where you are the beginning, not someone's backup plan. Key phrase: the narcissist denied you a kiss, but you found your voice, and that voice can now choose who walks beside you, who earns access to your soul, who hears your yes without fear. So when this video ends, raise your head, not as someone who watched another person's story, but as someone who recognized their own, embraced it, and rose above. Because after a kiss denied, what comes next isn't emptiness, it's the reunion with yourself, and that, dear awakened soul, is the greatest act of love there is.